Hi, it's Rachel. My website is rhmaldonado.com. Belief in the human spirit and desire to connect is the reason that I want to tell your story and mine. And I am with Kenneth Carter III, an entrepreneur. Tell me about this.
Hello, Rachel. How are you?
Good.
Yes, so I'm an entrepreneur, been in business going on my second year for Marathon Freight and Logistics. We are a freight brokerage and logistics company providing business to business solutions for people in the US.
Ooh. So you're a baby entrepreneur. You have just started 2 years. And what was that like launching this?
It was fun, high energy, and a lot of excitement.
Wow. So when you say excitement, what was that, tipping point that, oh, I'm starting my business?
The tipping point came in prison.
Ooh.
Yes. So once I realized that because I'm going to be labeled as a felon once I get out, I realized I needed to have a solution to that problem. My
Mm,
solution was to create my own company, and I wouldn't have to worry about getting my background checked because of my past. And I can actually use my skills from my previous employers to be able to grow my company.
yeah. So, not only are you successful, you're an entrepreneur and you have your own business, but this is something that you really thought about. Like, hey, there are repercussions, I have obstacles. So, did you find that you had obstacles to launch your business?
No, there were no obstacles because I've already taken them out. I removed all the obstacles, and I ensured that once I got out, I'll be ready to hit the ground running.
Yeah. How did you do that, Kenny?
Well, I started inside, like I said, inside the prison, and
Hmm.
I started with self-help and self-discovery. So reading books, trying to understand who I was first, and then what I need to do to grow myself. And so it's a lot of education, a lot of books, a lot of reading, and a lot of self-discovery, understanding my strengths and my weaknesses for me to be able to get out and come in strong.
Oh, oh, I am so excited now because when you say self-discovery, no one has quite put it like that to me. And I really love it because, I'm all about self-care. And I think that's a good thing. But tell me about this, the self-discovery. Was there a turning point with this? This is interesting.
Yes. Yeah. So the turning point was sitting around in the prison cell, looking at what my future would be and realizing and reflecting back on what I've done in the past and how I've affected people negatively. And from there, I realized that I had more potential than being this person, than being just that inmate that
Yeah.
were labeled as. And so I had to figure out a way to become better and stronger and to show that I am, for myself, that I am more than just this inmate or a felon.
Yeah. Well, you got the books and this self-discovery process, but what was that linchpin, that piece that you're like, you know what? I am better than this cell, this label. Like, what was that just made you think, no, I'm going to learn this self-discovery. This is fascinating.
Well, identifying what was causing me or what caused me to get into prison to lead to
Ooh.
this.
So you started at the beginning. You started at the baseline.
Yeah, 3 months in, it took 3 months for me to realize, okay, this cannot be my life. I cannot come back to this place, and I can't come out saying I went to prison and then that's it.
Yeah. So you're like, no, this is not my plan for myself.
Right. Recreate the plan.
Yeah. So in this self-discovery, a lot of people, everyone, like I don't care who you are, everyone is just sort of, they wonder sometimes, like, hey, could I do something? Or could I talk to this person? How did you, with this self-discovery, be like, no, I am going to do this? And that's sort of like that inner confidence when you're there? Like, how did you get that piece?
That piece, I feel like it was innate. It was already there.
Ooh,
The problem was the behaviors and the environment that I was in didn't allow that to come out. So I just had to harness that and say, you know what, I am confident because if I enjoy what I'm doing, then I got to be confident about it. And I know I have that potential. So the confidence wasn't a problem at all. I just had to break it back out.
you're just like, no, I am confident. I just got to channel it in the right direction.
Right.
So, do you think that surrounding yourself with the right people or getting in with the wrong crowd, like that has a huge influence? You know, like what happened?
Yeah. Well, initially it's my fault. You have to take responsibility. I wouldn't be around that crowd if I didn't put myself in that situation. So first of all, understanding that you put yourself in any position, it's all on you. Whatever happens after that, it's influence, of course, but you are still making your own decisions. I realized that I created my crowd and I created the situation because everyone's independent. So when I become the person that I want to be, or then, and I start picking and choosing who fits in my circle, then I've created this problem for myself.
Yeah. So, if you were to tell yourself from 5 years ago, or if you were to tell someone else, like this is how you avoid making those choices, how would you tell them to do that? You know, even like a step in the right direction.
I'll tell them to learn themselves first.
Mm.
That's that simple. You have to learn yourself. You know, Rachel, I can tell you about you and what makes you upset and what makes you happy. But if you turn around and ask me what makes me upset, what makes me happy, I'll be stumped. And that's the problem. We have to know who we are before we start judging other people.
Yeah. Yeah. So then when you did this self-discovery and you're like, hey, you know, I want to know something about myself, were you stumped in the beginning?
I was stumped on the weaknesses.
Ooh. Ooh. Tell me about that.
Well, you know, our perception is that we're good, we're strong, we have no issues, everything we did is for a reason.
Yes.
And then you have to really get deep down and see, you know what, there are some issues I have and there are some weaknesses. And so once you start replaying things that happened in your life and you realize that, you know what, you were that cause of that situation, or you know, you were that stimulant that started this until what it was. So from there, I just wrote down strengths and weaknesses. My strengths page was full, my weaknesses page had zero.
Oh, so
And
you were confident. You mean like I got confidence, but it was that weaknesses, like I got zero that you had to think about.
yes, you have to think about it because you don't walk around saying, "Oh, I'm weak in this, I'm weak in that." No, you just, I'm confident in this, I'm confident in that, and but that's not taking accountability.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you finally found something, you go from zero to you find something, you know, you have to contemplate a weakness. It was that hard to dig deep.
Yes, very hard. It was worth it, but it was hard. Shed some tears on the making of that list, but it was definitely, it was worth it, 100%,
Why the tears, Kenny?
because the truth hurts. You know, it's looking at yourself from a different light is definitely hard. You got to have that step outside your body and look at yourself and see what's happening around you, and that's when it's real. Because self-preservation, we're going to preserve ourselves and make sure that we're not hurting. So by looking through our own lenses, there's no issues. But you really have to step out of that and say, hold on, let me see, who is this guy? What is he doing and how's he treating others? And only then the truth comes out and the pain comes.
And then when you say pain, you know, when you have pain, do you have anybody to help you, or did you just grapple through the pain on your own?
I did it on my own. I
Hmm.
did have support on the outside, letters and phone calls, but it was all me because I had to do it.
Yeah.
People around you, friends or acquaintances, will always tell you the good stuff because they're not here to hurt your feelings, and they're here to protect you, and that's the love. But that's the part that's a problem. You do have to have that love from others, but you have to be realistic with yourself and say, you know what, I have to fight this by myself, and I have to go through this pain and this struggle by myself to understand that this is who I am when I'm by myself.
Yeah. So then, you do the work, you think about things, and you also dig deep. And coming out from this, did you have these thoughts and ideas about being an entrepreneur? And how did you actually get those wheels in motion? You got these ideas and you got all the confidence in the world. Then how do you make it happen?
You just make it happen. You just go do it. And that's the thing. All the research in the world won't help you.
Hmm?
All the planning won't help you. You just got to jump into it, make it happen. Find out what the steps are to get you to the first step, and then once that first step comes, you're going to start realizing that, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, and I need to do this. But until you start moving forward, you won't even know that step two is there until you accomplish step one.
Ooh. So this is a good tip for every entrepreneur or business owner or anyone in the world. Like, hey, just do it. Just go.
Yep, exactly. You just have
Yeah.
to do it.
Don't overthink it. You know.
No, overthinking it leaves you stuck. You're not moving forward. You're over researching, you're trying to figure out the best plan, and there is no best plan. There's no right way. It's just the only way is to just do it, to go forward.
Ooh, you said, there's no right way. You just do it. So it's almost like even if someone else has a business similar to yours, it's different than the way you did it because everybody does different.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so for you, you got your own spin on things and, 2 years, you're successful and you're doing well. What's your spin? Like, what do you say? Like, hey, this is what I ring.
Well, it starts from the core. Because I've developed this business in a way that helped me get to my next level in life, I really do have the passion for it.
Mm.
It's not a way to just make money. It's a way for me to survive. It's a way for me to be the better person that I am now. So instead of going out drinking and partying, I work on the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. Wow. So you equate it to real things like, hey, the same things that you thought about before, these choices that you make. I could do this or I could work on my business.
Right. It's life support.
Yeah.
It really is.
And do you see the difference in your life? Like, hey, like party, like this is what I used to do. And now I work on your business. And does it feel like two different worlds or what is that?
It's definitely two different worlds. But this world is tangible. First of all, I can see the progress, and then I can feel it, which is the intangible part. But it makes me, as a whole, be a better person. There's structure. There's things that I need to get done. There's tasks. When you're partying, all you have to do is just show up, and that's it.
And so it's different, right? It's different. And what would you say to the person who they're like, but partying is fun or it's easy and all I got to do is show up because you don't dig deep to party. And so what would you say to them like, it's a different world and there's pros and cons to every choice that you make. What would you say to say like I like the world that I'm choosing? What would you say? Because you've had a foot in each.
Right.
How would you
Uh,
tell them, like, hey, think about this world's work, dig deep, but what would you tell them?
I would say to look a year in advance
Ooh,
and continue doing the same thing you're doing in this situation. And what does it look like in a year? If
mm,
it's the same thing, then you haven't grown, you haven't aged. And I feel like that's the same thing, like sitting on past things or past events or saying this happened to me. If something happened to you 4 or 5 years ago and you're still living it and thinking about it, you're still 5 years in the past. So
ooh,
you need to look forward and think about what it is that you want to accomplish in a year from now. And maybe that'll help change your thinking.
yeah. Oh, I like that. There's this piece about the past that so many people they cannot move on from. Someone hurt me, or I had bad circumstances, not my fault. This past that people hang on to. And you're saying, if you want to be successful or you want to move on, you have to somehow let go of this past. you know how did you do that?
I had no choice. When I talk about the 1 year in advance, the positive part about me going to prison was I was sentenced on a time.
Ooh.
So no matter what, I knew that in 2.5 years or 3 years, this is when your life really starts. So
Ooh.
that was a privilege because now I had a time frame.
Yeah.
When we sit back and live our life day by day, partying, hanging out, there's no time frame. And then you turn 50, and then you turn 60. You're like, oh my God, what happened to the time? Well, when you're sentenced, you have a time. So instead of saying, oh, I have 30 months till I get out, I was saying I only have 30 months till I get out.
Yeah.
Therefore, I have to accomplish these tasks before this time's up.
Yeah.
So that helps giving yourself a time frame.
So you feel like, you took things that were a negative, like, okay, I have this prison sentence, and you actually in your mind formulated it to more of a game plan.
Exactly. It had to be a game plan. It
Yeah.
was a perception of time change.
Yeah. And these things, like, you read or you do the self-discovery, but did you find that you move forward, you're figuring something out, and you take a step back because it's not the most conducive, helpful place to self-discover? Or did you find that you kind of went straight and kept going? Or were there like little setbacks? Game plan.
There was no setbacks. I feel like that place it's overall not conducive to growth,
Yeah.
but it's also the best thing because I don't have to worry about anyone but myself in there.
Ooh.
And no one really affects me. So here in the outside world, we may have kids or spouses or whatever it is. And if that person's not aligned with your goals, then you're like, hey, come on, come on, come on. Let
Yeah.
me help you. But you're taking too much time away from yourself.
Mhm.
So being in prison, you only have to worry about yourself, and that gives you that time to grow internally first. And then when you get out, or once you get out of your time, let's say an hour a day in your room by yourself thinking and growing, only then would you want when you exit that room, you can say, okay, let me help you now. But it's because I've already helped myself.
Yeah. So what is your take on some people? They help themselves. They're like, this is not working for me. This is not what I envisioned for myself. And then other people, they stay mired in the past, or they literally just don't take that step. Like, let me dig deep, let me try. And it is that baseline first step. What is the difference, do you think? Because if we say what it is, maybe it would help someone else to know which camp they're in and maybe, move them forward. What do you think is that difference? You say, I help myself, and then the other people, they don't help themselves.
I think it's the fear. We're too busy worrying about trying to help someone else out get to where they want to be, but we're afraid to take that leap for ourselves.
Ooh, it's kind of like that thing you're saying with digging deep. You can think about the good things, but if you want to think about your weaknesses, very hard. And same with this.
Yeah,
Maybe
same
it's okay to
thing.
look about the other people's fears, but you want to talk about your own fears? That's scary.
Yeah, exactly. You know, growing up, I was always like the kid, like I would help my brother learn things.
Mm,
And like for instance, backflipping. I never learned how to backflip, but I can teach him how to do it.
yeah,
And that's how life is, with what you're saying. Is like you can teach somebody else to do it, but you have that fear of doing it yourself.
yeah,
And so you just have to go do it for yourself. And once you do it yourself, then you can understand the fundamentals of it. And then you can teach someone else.
yeah. So you don't espouse that as much, that those who can't do teach. You think it's more effective when you do it for yourself first?
Not necessarily. You can teach people to do things that you don't know how to do.
Hmm.
But because you have sales leaders and then you have the managers. Just because you're good at sales don't mean you're good at managing, or vice versa. But
Yeah.
what I will say that in life, you do need to go take care of yourself and be selfish to
Ooh.
grow. You have to be selfish. That word has such a negative connotation, but it's not really it shouldn't be. Be selfish, grow yourself, and then that'll allow you to grow others.
Yeah. And when you did this, did you see like immediate results? I know you said, it was just kind of a straight path for you because you just, align your vision with what you want. But, now that you're a business owner for 2 years and an entrepreneur, did you see that?
I did see that because I envisioned it.
Yeah.
I created it in my mind. I used to go to sleep at night and I wake up in the morning after having a dream of owning my business and going into the office. And I wake up like, oh man, I'm still in the cell.
Oh my goodness. You would go to sleep and you're like, I'm here. But this is what I envision. I am a business owner.
Yes,
You wake up, and so you did this for so long that it's imprinted in your mind. So then when you got out, it's just so exciting that you can actually do it.
exactly. I'm living my dream, literally.
You're living your dream. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? I have a soft spot. Every person who's a business owner, because not everybody can do this. And it takes a tremendous amount of courage. Like you said, the fear. Most people will never in their life take that step. Business owners are a very rare kind of breed. And what would you say, like, you're living your dream. What would you say you're 2 years in, you're a business owner, from inmate to entrepreneur? What would you tell someone like, hey, this is what I feel?
You want to know how I feel?
Yeah.
I feel like it's unbelievable. It's unrealistic. I feel like because I put that time in to put it in my mind and dream about it over and over and over, that is actually, it doesn't seem real. And every day that I get the opportunity to make a phone call or help someone else out, or even work on things to teach myself, I feel like this is just the best thing ever.
Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know if this will come through on the audio, maybe in the video version it will, but I literally, I feel like I'm not crying. I'm not crying. It's just like allergies. But I did. When you said that, it really struck a chord with me. And it's going to mean something to others too who are making this decision, you telling this, because I'm a baby entrepreneur too. And so when you say these things, it just, it's almost like I'm not crying. It's just allergies, okay? So it's amazing. It's amazing. And I have one last question for you. What makes you feel alive?
Being able to accomplish things, being present, and being there for family. That's what makes me feel alive.
Yeah. Accomplished, present, family, all good things. Well, Kenny, I thank you so much. Your insights are astounding and it's very interesting, and I wish you nothing but the success, all the success in the world for your business.
Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate it, and I hope you grow as a baby entrepreneur and we can grow together.